Bon dia a tothom. Bé, com ja hem dit, soc la directora general de Societat Digital i després la Natalia explicarà què fan a Valkyria Tech, però sapeu que és una comunitat d'innovació oberta que el que fa és mostrar una integració digital amb eines tecnològiques i metodologies concretes que volen transformar el talent divers i inclusiu en les organitzacions. Valkyria Institute for Futures s'uneix a una iniciativa europea que es diu 50 in Tech, que juntament amb dues acceleradores del món el que volen és implementar i impulsar el talent femení. Per una banda tenim la que tenim aquí a Barcelona, que és Valkyria, per altra banda una incubadora a París, que es diu Viva Accelerator, i per l'altra a Casablanca, la H7, que és la incubadora de startups gran del nord d'Àfrica. Des de la Generalitat també sabeu que despleguem el Pla Dona TIC, que suposo que els que em sentiu parlar i les que em sentiu parlar sempre l'explico allà on vaig, i una de les línies del Pla Dona TIC és aquest empoderament i aquestes ganes que les dones emprenguin i que emprenguin en digital, perquè una empresa que neix en femení actua en femení. As you know, women are today still underrepresented and underfunded in the high-tech ecosystem. Only 10% of female founders and 3% of CEOs and female get a dismal 2.7% of all venture capital. However, the startups co-founded by women are performing 70% better than all male founding teams. Women in tech are the largest disruptive force in innovation. And from Institute for Futures, they're going to give the resources and tools to change the male-dominated tech world. And the goal is clear, is to have more than 100,000 active members and helping 10,000 startups to succeed and grow. Des de la Generalitat, estem treballant amb Valkyria amb l'objectiu d'impulsar models públic-privats per unificar objectius empresarials i que Barcelona segueixi esdevenint un hub de talent internacional. I l'objectiu final és incorporar 10 startups femenines en aquest programa de bootcamp. Let me now introduce you the two women who will run this session. Natalia Olson, a la meva dreta i a la meva derecha. She's CEO and co-founder of the Disruptive Factory, with more than 20 years working with international entities, regionals and local in Latin America, Central Europe, Asia and the States. She's an expert on smart cities, blockchain, finances, mobility, a lot of things. But she's also ambassador and member of Valkyria Tech. She will explain what they are doing there. And also from Tel Aviv, Nava, she's the co-founder and CEO of Calypsa. Calypsa is set out to change the swimwear industry by inventing pieces that are data-driven. So the floor is yours. We have just 15 minutes for talk. Later, maybe if someone has some question, we will give you the opportunity to ask for questions to our leaders today. So it's your turn, Natalia.
Sure.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. And I love being in Barcelona. I even actually live now between Barcelona and Palo Alto, California, and hopefully soon, maybe Tel Aviv as well. I love going to Tel Aviv. And one of the things that I love about this region is the amount of ideas and entrepreneurial ecosystems that are growing every day. And I've met such amazing women who are trying to do so much, and I think this is one of the things that Valkyria does really well. I'm going to just give you a little bit of stats on the fact of why we have this conversation. Especially sharing best practices. I think that being part of the Obama administration, we went into the government and we actually, policymakers, going to go ahead and change government, and we use technology, right? And you didn't know that policymakers were going to be so much into tech. So every industry, from swimwear to transportation, we do need technology in order for us to be able to move faster, invent faster, and innovate. So what the Startup Nation, which is what Israel is very well known for, has been doing so tremendously. Just this year alone, they doubled the amount of money they raised from venture capital, $17.7 billion. Just in 2021, which we closed, that's double the amount of 2020. And it's a tiny little country, and I just feel like we can learn so much here in Catalonia from what the amazing things, policy, not only policies, but that yes, we can attitude, yes, we think globally, yes, we can actually be able to move to Africa, bigger markets, and so on. I'm so happy that Nava is here today. But what we have here, which I think is missing sometimes in Barcelona or Catalonia or Spain, we don't tend to elevate the jewels, right? The amazing things. And when I met Valkyria, when I met Yolanda, I thought, wow, they're really, they have great experience. They're trying to do so much more. And now...
Yolanda is not here, but she's...
I know Yolanda's not here.
But I think that everyone knows Yolanda. She's the leader of Valkyria. She's always everywhere. Not today, but she has you today, so...
But she's in spirit, and she's the one who put this presentation together. And that's why I speak... I love the spirit that she has and her experience, and that's why I'm here not talking about my company, I'm talking about her vision.
It's a female style.
Yes.
Style, yeah.
Exactly. And this is what about women, I've met so many amazing women that we support each other, right? And we're building our network. Works, and I think one of the things that we want to do here is be able to get that gap, right? Esa brecha, que es tan grande, and in my own region in Silicon Valley, there's not much, thank God now, in the last couple of years, there's a lot more investment. There's a lot more women investors, and this is something that we need more than anything. And here the goals is to really just make sure that that gap is closed, to understand what are the needs of the corporations, how can corporates, how can big companies get involved, because as an entrepreneur, we want to make money.
Yeah,
and it's not about just impact and doing something good. It's about what makes sense. So I think that from a corporate perspective in Silicon Valley, we have a lot of the corporate venture building. One of our good friends, Plug and Play, has 400 corporations that they've been able to bring together. And I think this is what needs to happen here in Catalonia, and getting companies to be more excited about what we're working on. So one of the things that we need, right, as entrepreneurs and business people is talent. Talento y el talento femenino, que es sumamente importante. And so this is some of the strategies, some of the ideas that Valkyria has. And what we think is that we have to really target the education system, get them to talk to the corporates, see what the investigadores, los científicos, what they're working on. Because I used to talk about metaverse years ago, and now metaverse is the new thing, and Facebook bought Oculus years ago. So this is something that we need to start thinking of what the crazy stuff is happening. Blockchain. I introduced blockchain to the US government. Who was going to think that blockchain was going to be the next big thing? And now we need more experts, more skilled labor, and Yolanda and Valkyria has been able to bring together these mentors, amazing ladies and folks that can, como dice mi madre, con una luz nadie se pierde. So those mentors are really important to be able to walk you through those
there are
different
also
systems.
Men, because it's important.
There's the men, and
not
I
only
appreciate
woman for women,
all the men who support us.
Are welcome to join us.
Welcome to join us.
We need your opinion, right?
We need more. Yes, we need definitely more. Because we need to know how that works, especially in corporations.
Yeah, sure.
So see, these are some of the startups that are here today. So I just want to highlight them. They're walking around. So introduce yourself. It's all about networking and personal relationships. And this is just a little bit of information on Valkyria. And now I'm going to pass the floor to Nava. She's going to tell us a little bit of her experience as a CEO and founder in Israel. And like our friend said, it's just an appetizer. Es just un appetizer un poquitito para poder compartir y ver qué experiencias hay allá. So, Nava, thank you so much for being here, my friend, all the way from Israel.
Amazing. So, hi everyone. My name is Nava. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Calypsa. We're a swimwear company. We sell swimwear online. We're changing and disrupting the industry. Up until now, all the companies always spoke about how women's bodies need to fit the clothing and how women need to, be in shape to wear swimwear and everything. And we're coming in with a whole new idea and saying, actually, the clothing needs to fit the women and not the opposite. And that's where Calypsa was born. We're creating a kinder kind of swimwear that's kinder towards women, that is more accepting, that enables women to do all the fun things that they want to do. Whether they want to go to the beach or they want to be with their family and they just want to feel good about themselves and feel comfortable. And so it's a one step towards enabling women to do everything that they dream of doing. And that's kind of what I was hearing. I'm from Israel. I founded the company together with my husband. Today we're a team of 25 employees here, and I would be happy just to answer like any questions you have about Israel. I think one of the things that is super unique about us here is the way people think and the way they're able to execute. We see that in our team a lot. Even though we're a retail company, we act like a startup company, or like a tech company even, where basically we have to execute and we have deadlines and we do things in a very technological way that almost if you come to our office, you barely see any samples because even our designs and our products are all products that are designed online. Instead of bringing people in physically to measure our products, we have about 100 virtual models that kind of measure the products and make sure that the fit is really good, and then we go and we manufacture everything. In terms of the ecosystem, yeah.
No, on the disruption part, Nava, folks sometimes don't understand that you can disrupt any industry, right? And it's about understanding what hasn't happened and using data and using feedback and nowadays we understand better that people are just not happy with certain products and want something different. How did you come up with this idea? Like just to give a kind of a clip of as a woman, as an entrepreneur, right? You saw how for me it was how do I get children into greener buildings? I wanted to get the technology, getting buildings to be just smarter, and so I got into this whole world of climate change, and then we started disrupting everything.
I think that's amazing because I think that just shows that there's a different mindset, and you can really change anything that you set your mind to changing. I love going to the beach and the pool, and it's just something that always creates a lot of anxiety. 70% of women feel anxious. 30 to 50% of women don't even go to the beach or the pool because they don't want to be in those situations. Okay. So by just understanding what's wrong or trying to address the problem or understanding that there is a problem creates a lot of room and opportunity for creating a solution. And I think that that's what we're doing today with Calypsa, and who knows what else I'll be doing in the future in other companies. And I really believe that that's a mindset here in Israel that people adapt to and understand really quickly. They're not afraid to point out problems and things that need to be fixed and things that need to be disrupted in the startup language. And I think that we're all focused on what are those things that are going to make a difference and what are those things that are going to change. Like the industry that we're in is an industry that's worth $23 billion. So it's a massive industry that really players to date haven't disrupted, haven't changed, haven't thought differently, haven't changed or done anything out of the box in those industries. And we find ourselves as like almost one of the only ones that are doing that. And there's endless industries that need improvements and need help with. And in Israel, you can see this a lot in the technology sector where, we're constantly finding these problems and these things that need to be fixed and disrupted. And the more you adjust your mindset to that way of thinking, the clearer it is for you to find those issues and try to disrupt them and change them and make a difference. The scene here is becoming like much more woman dominated. I remember going to VCs about 3 years ago when I just started, or 4 years ago, and most of the time I would kind of speak to men and tell them about my company, and it made it a little bit harder because it is a fashion retail company. And today I find myself going to meetings, and most of the time it's women. So you're seeing this amazing change that's happening and bringing more and more women into this world, which is really impressive and great for all of us.
Do you think, Natalia, it's the same? The fears that we have, of the problems that we can have as women, is the same in Europe or in Barcelona, in Tel Aviv, in the States? What do you think? Have we the same problems, or it's just? I mean, there is no geographical.
No, I think it's the same fear. I think that and from the U.S. to here, women tend to overplan and they don't want to fail, and they're multitasking. Always, with kids, we have parents, everything. So we make sure that everything is set correctly before we go out there. And this is something that we need to break. We just need to go and test the ground before we start analyzing every little detail. And it's in the U.S. we have the same thing. I know, just like Nava said, in Israel before, it was all guys.
So it's universal.
Yeah, it's universal.
Yeah.
So this is the thing of, just not be afraid, get more women. As soon as you see more women investors, and this is the other thing that, like with Elena Torres and a bunch of people, elevating the angel network and getting more women because they want to see other women that understand them. I think that's how do we not only incentivize the VC community, but how about all these Spanish Catalan families who have a lot of wealth, and a lot of young women are taking the reins of their family business. How do we empower them to invest?
We need to, for example, we are from the Generalitat, we are giving money, as a grant for companies led by women. It's almost 1 million euros for the next year.
Oh, good.
And because this year we just, we don't have any more money. It's important because we detect that it's important for companies to give, to help them to get money just in a concrete moment of their project life. And we are giving these tickets for women. Well, not we, the government.
Yes.
And it's working very, 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 it's fine because we've detected that. And Elena Torres helped us to know where and why we need to help them.
Exactly, and this is just, and it's not only capital, but it's also contracting. The contracting side, incentivize for the government to say we're going to buy 5% from women-owned companies, and for corporates, right? Corporates to say we're going to purchase, we're going to the procuridad,
to try,
the procurement process to change a bit to buy from more women. And I think that, like in the U.S., we raised it in the Jobs Act to 5%. So everything the U.S. government buys has to come from a women-owned company. That's $17 billion that went to women-owned companies. And not grants. That's grant. It's not grants at all. It's just, let me give you an opportunity to sell to the U.S. government. So I think that this is something that, where the public sector and the private sector and the institutions can come together to really build that. And I think that I'm not sure what Israel is doing in that, but I know that we work really closely from the U.S. side with Israelis, and we try to share our best practices. I was just in Mexico, I was just in Cordoba, Marbella, Malaga. I'm talking about this in the last 6 days. So it's about sharing practices, I think.
Sure. Does anyone have any question in the someone has some question? So
and that's it. No hay que tener vergüenza.
Yes.
You're gonna ask questions because it's incredible. When I ask questions, all of a sudden I'm part of a new organization.
Jo aprovecharia que esta Natalia, aprofitaria que és una crack. Si teniu algun dubte, if you have any doubt, ask now because és boníssima. Per tant, jo aprofitaria. No? So I have a question, Natalia. What about women investors? There are differences between women who are investing in projects and men, or we are just we follow the same rules, or what do you think about that?
No,
because I don't know.
I've seen more women, and and Nava, I'll refer that question to you too, because.
But the projects where they invest to, they are the same kind of projects, or you mean
from an more women investing in other industries?
Yeah,
we're seeing a lot more women investing in the health tech. Is big. We see a lot more women in the wellness and agriculture. So a lot of the science, science-based. I'm really surprised, and this is what I love about Catalonia, is that there's so much biotech, and there's so much centros de investigación, and so many women scientists that what we need to do is help them commercialize. And I know BioCat is doing that really well, but getting them out of that investigación, research, and getting them to commercialize is key, and elevating these women scientists. Because you have more women scientists, I think, than we do.
So we are focused on that. That's clear. I don't know in Tel Aviv, what are they investing on?
What are the investors looking at as far as you said there's more women investors now. What type of investments are they looking for?
Which sectors?
How did this grow a bit more?
So I think that there are so many sectors now in Israel. If at first there weren't so many a few years ago, today, I think investors are basically investing in everything. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that they're not afraid to, you don't have to be a scientist to invest in healthcare. You don't have to be, you don't have to understand cars to invest in cars. Like people are just jumping in and kind of learning the industries as they go on. So I'm not saying anything specific on our part. I just know that there's a lot of women in the health tech world. Women are the ones that are much more, very studious and they understand things much more and they go on and they get their PhDs. And then with that knowledge, I'm seeing a lot of women opening up and starting companies in those kinds of areas, but not only. I think that the more we bring this up to discussion, the more women speak about it, the more investors there are out there, then, there's just more companies in a lot of different categories. It is not one specific thing.
Yeah, and it's true. I'm not an engineer. And I'm an economist, urban planner,
like me. I'm journalist.
Finance. Yeah, exactly. But I'm all about how do I make the technology commercialize and grow and market it and hire the right people. Right? It's about the teams you surround yourself with. Always surround yourself with people smarter than you, and build those teams of people because they're the ones that I call ladders of opportunity. They're the ones that are going to grow. They're the ones that are going to attract other talent. Yeah. And for example, a lot of companies, unfortunately, you have some very old companies. And they're not changing their model. They're not. When you ask someone coming out of college, "Oh, do you want to work for Google or do you want to work for IBM?" They go towards the more techie, the more exciting, or the startup. There's a lot of people who want to go and start a new company, and I think that this is where I think in Israel there's 11 unicorns now. There's so many new companies that are just taking that status of growing. I think. People always ask me, well, Silicon Valley, and I go, well, in Silicon Valley we don't have as many women, but I think this is where it's changing, in the last couple of years. Yeah. But in the last 2 years we have more women investors than we've ever had in the history of the last 40, 50 years.
Nice.
And also in the U.S. government, we empower. We have a small business. It's called Small Business Investment Company, the SBIC. This is how many VCs got started. And now we're focusing a lot of that on women investors.
Okay.
So it's putting money towards that.
So 2 minutes left.
Yeah.
So what would you tell if anyone here has an idea or some startup and they want to come to Valkyria just to know what you're doing?
Yes.
What they should to have.
So Valkyria is doing a lot of working with cohorts, right? Different startups, giving them mentoring, giving them a financial structure of how to do your finances is really important. How people have great ideas, but you can't execute without don dinero. You have to make money. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
It's a great idea, but if you don't know how to do the financing is key. Understanding your legal entity. What does that mean? Do you want to, when you incorporate here, and this is the other thing, why does it take so long? In the US, it takes 1 hour to incorporate. So how do you structure that? So all of that type of infrastructure, it takes a town to start a company. So Valkyria provides a lot of that. And so I love the fact that they are in Pueblo No, and that they're really being very interactive, and actually their idea of reaching out globally and working with Israeli entrepreneurs has been really, I think, visionary.
Okay, so thank you, Nava, for being here in Barcelona today.
Yes, and we hope to see you. We have a lot of beaches in Barcelona, beautiful beaches. Imagine how it's that's what I love. I always, when I go to Tel Aviv, I'm like, Barcelona, Tel Aviv, great love that we can nurture and build.
Thank you, Nava. Gràcies, Natalia.
Nahayam.
I gràcies a tothom per ser aquí. Bon dia. Espero que gaudiu de les jornades perquè val molt la pena i qualsevol cosa com això, com a dones o homes que vulgueu invertir en projectes femenins, doncs ja sabeu, a Valkyria o a la Generalitat estem oberts i obertes a ajudar-vos amb el que pugueu. Bon dia.
Thank you very much.